And welcome to Hannity. And tonight, extremism and bigotry is festering inside the Democratic Party. Far-left individuals who hate our country, our way of life. They are desecrating our flag, vandalizing our monuments, and openly supporting Hamas, a terrorist organization. In response, the Biden-Harris administration can barely muster a yawn. Joe, as per usual, is barely able to get through the day. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party's newly anointed presidential nominee, Kamala Harris, summoned just enough courage to release a written statement politely condemning the pro-Hamas riots, you know, the people burning our flags and so on and so forth. But don't expect any big virtuous speeches condemning this extremism. You see, Kamala does not have the moral courage to call out her own radical side. Remember, she supported that bail fund after the police precinct was burned down in Minneapolis. 4 days she tweeted out a support for the bail fund after the precincts burned down, said the riots, they're not going to stop. They shouldn't stop. We're not going to stop. Plus, she said, and she needs the radicals, we all know this, in her party to vote for her. God forbid she stand up to them. Now, despite the honeymoon and the sugar high in the days after Kamala's ascension, a brand new Emerson College poll found that Trump is still leading in key battleground states, including Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania. It's tied in Wisconsin. Meanwhile, Trump is up by 2 nationwide in a New York Times poll. And despite all the glowing coverage from the state-run media mob, Harris is struggling to hide her radical record. And by the way, on this show, our vetting has only begun. Now, today, House Democrats were sent this memo begging them to pretend that Kamala's border czar title was invented out of nowhere by Republicans. The document goes on to detail how Kamala really wasn't involved with the border, even though she was second in command at the Biden administration for the past 3 years and was specifically tasked with preventing illegal immigrants from several different countries. That was her job. According to our own Bill Maloogian, illegal immigration is up a whopping 140% from those countries. But Kamala, like Joe and Mayorkas, they lied to you for 3 straight years, telling you the border's secure, the border's secure, the border's closed. It was a big lie, just like covering up and lying about Joe's cognitive state, just like lying about the inflation problem being transitory. You know, this is a huge problem for Kamala's campaign. Her failures, her extreme positions are well documented. It's on tape. It's in her own words. For example, let's go down memory lane. Kamala in her own words. And here she is talking about leading the administration's efforts at the border. Take a look.
How did you decide that right now was the right time to make your first trip to the border?
Well, it's not my first trip. I've been to the border many times.
As the person in charge of the response.
So, the important aspect of this visit is leading this visit after the work that we did in Guatemala and Mexico. Because as I've long said, I said back in March I was going to come to the border, so this is not a new plan.
She sounds like the border czar. So let's be clear. Kamala Harris owns the border crisis, as does Joe. They both have blood on their hands for every rape or every murder that has occurred by their 11+ million unvetted illegal immigrants from over 180 countries, including countries with terror ties and our top geopolitical foes. And to this day, she has done absolutely nothing to solve the crisis. In fact, House Republicans and Democrats, they just passed a resolution condemning Kamala Harris's failure at the border. And don't forget, last night we showed you her repeated pleas for illegal immigration to be decriminalized, wanted them to have free health care and education that you pay for. And tonight, here's Kamala Harris suggesting that immigration and customs enforcement should be abolished. Take a close look.
A lot of the signs at the rally you just held were people standing there saying, abolish ICE.
Yeah.
Is that a position that you agree with?
Listen, I think there's no question that we've got to critically re-examine ICE and its role and the way that it is being administered and the work it is doing. And we need to probably think about starting from scratch because there's a lot that is wrong with the way that it's conducting itself, and we need to deal with that.
And she falsely accused ICE people of whipping immigrants, was not true, never apologized. Kamala Harris essentially called for America's borders to be dissolved, and that's exactly what has happened. But her commitment to upending the law and law and order in our country doesn't stop at the border. Last night, we detailed, great specificity, Kamala's efforts to raise money for that bail fund that freed murderers, rapists, violent rioters from 2020's mostly peaceful summer of love, anything but. But get this, at the time, she also frequently toyed with an insane plan to defund, dismantle, reimagine the police, and according to Kamala, fewer police means a safer America, in her own words.
Are you for defunding the police?
How are you defining defund the police?
Talk to me about the defund the police movement, and what do you think is the first piece of legislation that should happen towards reforming the police?
So at its essence, Andy, it really, I believe, is about reimagining public safety and how we achieve it. You know, for far too long, the status quo thinking has been to believe that by putting more police on the street, you're going to have more safety. And that's just wrong. It's just, that's not how it works.
This is wrong, not how it works. Kamala Harris doesn't just want fewer police. She's also in favor of removing penalties for a variety of crimes, including certain drug offenses, which is ironic. I'll explain in a minute, but in her own words, take a listen.
They say you oppose legalizing weed.
That's not true.
I know.
and look, I joke about it, half joking. Half my family's from Jamaica. Are you kidding me?
Have you ever smoked?
I have.
Okay. Like in college,
I inhaled. I did inhale.
Okay.
It was a long time ago. But yes.
I know you have to go. They say you have to go.
I just broke loose.
I mean, was it in college? See, I like stuff like that. That's a real honest answer.
Real.
Was it a blunt or joint?
It was a joint.
Hey.
Yeah.
You remember the high?
I do.
So if it was legalized all throughout the country and medicinal, would you do it?
Listen, I think that it gives a lot of people joy, and we need more joy.
We need more joy in this world.
We should have a poll. What's worse, the answer or the giggling? And while Kamala was joking about smoking weed, it is important to remember that as a DA in San Francisco, Kamala Harris locked up quite a few people for that exact crime, including many African-American men. But apparently, as the political winds change, so did Kamala Harris. Now, as a born-again socialist to the left of Bernie Sanders, she doesn't even want violent criminals behind bars. And as we showed you last night, she thinks if you're between the ages of 18 and 24, that you're stupid, in her own words.
What's the other thing we know about this population? And it's a specific phase of life. Remember, age is more than a chronological fact. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. That is why we put them in dormitories, and they have a resident assistant. They make really bad decisions.
A lot of older adult politicians, I'd say they're pretty stupid, too. Now she is demanding equity for all, not equality, but equity. In other words, in Kamala's dream society, it won't matter how hard you work or how smart you are or the quality of your decisions as an individual. Everyone, regardless of merit, will end up in the exact same place, in her own words.
And if the goal is truly about equality, it has to be about a goal of saying everybody should end up in the same place. And since we didn't start in the same place, some folks might need more. Equitable distribution. It's about giving people the resources and the support they need so that everyone can be on equal footing and then compete on equal footing. So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests often everybody should get the same thing. Well, that often assumes everybody started out in the same place, as opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place. And if you then understand not everybody started out in the same place, you understand some people need more.
Like a real-life Saturday Night Live skit. Now, what's in line? That's in line, obviously, with her support of a 70 to 80% tax rate. That'll disincentivize everybody from working. Take a look.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's new darling of the party. She officially has more Twitter followers than Nancy Pelosi. She was on 60 Minutes this weekend, proudly calling herself a radical. And she's promoting policies like saying that every single carbon emission in the country, every car, should be eliminated within the next 11 years, everything from a 70 to 80% tax rate. Do you agree that she could possibly, in this ideology of the socialist left, could splinter your party?
No. I think that she is challenging the status quo. I think that's fantastic. I think that she is introducing bold ideas that should be discussed.
Fantastic ideas. Communism has failed everywhere in the world, but apparently Kamala would like to give it one more shot right here in the good old US of A, all in the name of equity. Make no mistake, Kamala Harris is far more radical than Joe Biden, Barack Obama combined, but she does share his love of public transportation. Take a look.
So here's the thing. Who doesn't love a yellow school bus, right? Can you raise your hand if you love a yellow school bus, right? Just, there's something about and most of us, many of us went to school on the yellow school bus, right? And it's part of our experience growing up. It's part of, a nostalgia and a memory of the excitement and joy of going to school, to be with your favorite teacher, to be with your best friends, and to learn. The school bus takes us there.
I don't like school buses myself, but that's my own personal taste. Didn't Joe Biden try to prevent the integration of schools and busing? And she was that girl, she said in that debate, because Joe partnered with the former Klansmen to stop the integration of schools. He didn't want schools, in his words, to be racial jungles. Now, in addition to hyping up America's school buses, Vice President Harris was also tasked with the mission to bring the wonders of space to communities all across America. And to fulfill this very vague mission, Kamala hired several child actors and created a short film showing her, well, awkwardly talking to these child actors about planets while they pretended to be interested. They weren't. Take a look.
I just love the idea of exploring the unknown. And then there's other things that we just haven't figured out or discovered yet. To think about so much that's out there that we still have to learn. Like, I love that. I love that. And so I'm very excited about the Space Council. We're going to learn so much. You guys are going to see. You're going to literally see the craters on the moon with your own eyes.
Oh, my goodness.
With your own eyes. I'm telling you, it is going to be unbelievable.
So tonight, with just 54 days until early voting begins in Pennsylvania and then around the country, and only 102 days until November the 5th, do you really want to take a chance on an incompetent politician with a radical, extreme, far-left agenda? Or do you want to return to the Trump years? Low taxes, lower interest rates, lower gas prices, no inflation, secure borders, law and order, peace and prosperity for all, and the world's dictators not running wild around the world because they actually respect the president. The choice has never been more clear. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.